Welcome to Conversations with Cox and Kielseth, and to be more specific, that is filmmaker Alex Cox and myself, film curator Pablo Kielseth. Alex will join us by phone from his home in Oregon, while I sneak away from my office to call him from one of the projection booths used by the International Film Series, which has been screening foreign and independent movies at CU Boulder since 1941. We will keep our chats to about 20 minutes as we discuss whatever movie-related topics grab our fancy. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, action.
Alejandro, sorry I was a little bit late today. I do a little mini or Zoom movie reviews with IFS projectionist Anastasia Matthews, and she was actually able to come, and we were in person under the carport, and we went a little bit late on that. But I am psyched to now be here with you because we're talking about...
You're a media machine. You're a media output machine.
Well, I think I just need to tell her that we'll do our thing on a separate day just so we can have more of a buffer all the way around. That'd be good for her, good for you, good for me. So,
and do you have a beer?
That's the thing, because normally Anastasia is in La Junta over the summer, but she was in Boulder for a couple days, and so she said that she was going to hit Hazel's and wanted some beer recommendations, and so I actually gave her 4 different tasters to try, and we started out with 2 mashes. And then I ended with the beer that I'm having right now. So I'm having a Deschutes The Abyss, a 2019 Reserve. It's a monster. Oh my God.
Wow.
It is a monster, let me tell you. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. It's 11.2 ABV, and it's a $20 bomber with 410 calories. So I'm probably going to gain 5 pounds tonight.
That's so funny. I was in the supermarket in Oregon looking at those beers, looking at those $20 bombers. And I said, and next to me was like the person I later discovered was the person who buys the beer and wine for the market. And I said, who on earth buys these $20 bottles of beer? And this guy goes, fucking millionaires.
Well,
so there.
I am certainly not that. And this is the first. And in fact, I stopped buying The Abyss probably 6 years ago because of the price. But because I knew that I was going to be giving a guest a tour of the beers, I wanted to have a high-end beer on the other side. But I did start out with my kind of one of my preferred 50-50 mashes of Bell's Lighthearted Ale and the 21st Amendment Brewery Blood Orange IPA. And that is something that boils down to $1.50 for a can. So it's
yes, indeed.
Yeah. Indeed. So we went from the $1.50 mark to something 10
the millionaire range.
Yeah. It's kind of redonkulous, but if I'm acting a little giddy right now, it's because I'm actually not even used to having these kind of monsters with 12%, in them.
Yeah, that's a very obviously extremely strong beer. That's almost as strong as vino.
Yeah. However, speaking of prices, this is an excellent segue, I think, to let people know that instead of talking to folks about the movies that are available to see on the internationalfilmseries.com website, which they're still there, and please do go there to support us and independent distributors. But I told Alex, I thought it'd be nice to actually, for those people who are on a budget, who are not millionaires, who cannot afford The Abyss, which is me most of the time, what about movies that you can see for free on the archive.org site? And if you go to archive.org, there's actually tons of links because there's so many things you can choose from.
Not just movies, there's music and books and,
if you're a Grateful Dead freak, I mean, there's all kinds of, there's a Grateful Dead archive, there's a community software Archive. There's just all kinds of things that you can watch on that or check out. And one of the things is that there are public domain movies that you can watch. And what's also stunning is that some of those they're HD. The quality is great. So for those of you who are stuck home and you're worried about your finances and you'd like to watch something for free, Alex and I decided
archive.org.
That's right, archive.org. And Alex, it was funny because when I said let's just watch one of the sci-fi or horror films on archive.org, and you said, I just saw House on Haunted Hill, and this is going to surprise people who know me because I love horror films. But I actually have never seen House on Haunted Hill. And so that was my selection. And it was available in HD. And it looked fantastic. And you said you had a different pick. What was your pick?
The Terror, directed by Roger Corman in 1962.
Right. So House on Haunted Hill was William Castle in 1958. So you've got Corman, I've got Castle. You begin.
Okay, well, this is a film which has a reputation for being made in 2 days. Because the story goes that Corman was finishing another... Roger Corman was this... You probably know Roger Corman, a famous director, distributor, created so many people's careers. Everybody, Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Jack Nicholson... They all worked for Corman before.
You have told me that you credit Roger Corman for actually being the person who started independent cinema. I think.
Yeah, I think it feels to me like he was the guy who really made the new American cinema, the new Hollywood, whatever they call it. What happened in the 60s and 70s?
He was an excellent patron of foreign movies as well.
And he was a distributor. Then later he became a distributor of foreign films and distributed like Bergman and very quality stuff,
Sure.
While making these kind of really beach blanket, drive-in, horror, schlocko movies with a little bit of social comment, and did very well out of them, including some films which were game changers, like The Trip, and some biker movies, which again were rip-offs of the Marlon Brando Wild One, but then all of that engendered Easy Rider, and it all came out of Corman's film school, And this is a film, supposedly Corman finished shooting one of his Edgar Allan Poe movies. He was doing Edgar Allan Poe movies because horror movies were popular and everything by Edgar Allan Poe was in the public domain, just like everything on archive.org.
There we go.
Movie section.
Yep.
And so he was like, he Pit and the Pendulum, The Raven, and the following year he did, or 2 years later, he did The Mask of the Red Death, which is very, very pertinent to our current situation. And in 62, he finished The Raven, the shoot of The Raven, 2 days early because he was so fast and so attentive to detail and just wanted to get it over with. So he had the crew, the location, and Boris Karloff and a young actor called Jack Nicholson available for free, essentially for him, for the next couple of days. Nowadays, you wouldn't be able to get away with that because the Screen Actors Guild would say, hey, wait a minute, they're making another movie. My client needs to be paid again. But in those days, it was just, he said to Karloff, hey, Boris, listen, I'm not making a movie. Here's the script, 2 more days work and I'll cut you in for 10% of the picture, and so they shot for 2 days on the set of The Raven, with Boris Karloff and Jack Nicholson and another actor. And then the story goes they tore the set down immediately it was finished, but that isn't true because if you see Mask of the Red Death, it's the same location. So obviously Corman was dipping in and out of this kind of giant horror movie dungeon banqueting hall set that was on location that had been built in some stage somewhere in Hollywood. Anyway, they shot this movie. They shot for 2 days. They had like a third of a finished film. So then he got all of these young directors whom he liked, like Francis Coppola, Jack Nicholson, Monty Hellman, three other guys as well, to go out and shoot extra stuff. And the mishmash that they all shot came together in this film called The Terror, which far from being like a 2-day movie, ended up taking like a year to do from October 62 to October 63. It never went away. It was a plague to Corman because he joined the Directors Guild. He couldn't shoot a non-union picture, so he had to keep getting these young guys like Coppola to do it for him. And Coppola just went up to Big Sur and shot a whole bunch of stuff on the beach with Jack Nicholson. They were supposed to shoot for 3 days. They shot for 11 days and went way over budget, way over their material limit, and came back. But Corman said it was very nice. We liked the footage, so we just had to change the script again. But anyway, so it goes. So that's it. It became and the result is, what is it? It's a really bad film with some great moments. Boris Karloff is excellent.
Yes,
and the end is just excellent. You really think it's going to be stupid and lame and just the most awful finale, and then they really surprise you at the end. They pull a fast one on you at the end. You think, oh, this is a good film after all. So that's The Terror. By Roger Corman, Francis Coppola, Jack Nicholson, Monty Hellman, and 3 other directors.
And available for free on archive.org, where you can also watch all kinds of other, like Killers from Space and Grave of the Vampire, Teenagers from Outer Space. And
the other thing is, because if the film is in the public domain, you can not only watch it, but you can sample it. You can take it as a basis for another film. You can mix up shots from The Terror with shots from your movie. You've got a free performance by Boris Karloff, and intercut that with your character, talking back to him. It's all possible because public domain means it's all free in every sense.
Good advice for any person out there stuck in their home who would like to actually make something new from that which is old, and surprise the rest of us with your creativity. So no, that's good advice. Yeah.
And so, what did you think of William Castle, House on Haunted Hill?
Well, first of all, I can't believe that I hadn't seen it until now. It's just one of those movies that I think I think I saw it, but today nope. It was the first time I'd seen it. And this really was a template movie for so many horror films that's why I'm sort of surprised that I neglected this, because if obviously there's all kinds of templates for, you got Agatha Christie and the whole, 10 Little Indians thing. And then you go all the way to Aliens, and even Aliens, you basically have, House on a Haunted Hill, except it's in a spaceship, so it's a template. But of course,
we'll get killed off one by one, we hope they're all going to get killed off one by one.
But what we have here it's actually very elegant, given that it has a theme about some beheaded bodies, and that you start out with these disembodied heads. And Vincent Price, of course, is just such a joy to watch. The dynamic between him and his wife was. It has a little bit of that kind of like the Morticia thing, or there's a sort of masochistic relationship. But
he is very good in it. You're right. Yes, he is very good.
Again, because it was in HD and it looked so good, and it was so crisp, and the set pieces are fun, and the shadow play is fun. But I'm going to do a little bit of a cheat here, and I hope that movie nerds will forgive me, but I do have to take one of the books off of my bookshelf. One of my Bibles, of many, many movie Bibles, the Psychotronic Encyclopedia film by Michael Weldon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Over 3,000 of the wildest movies ever made. And he came out with another one as well, but this is the first one. And it has all the greats, all the hits. And I do want to just share the first half of his description for House on Haunted Hill, because I don't think I just can't improve on it. And he says, William Castle, doing what he did best, scaring the shit out of the kids and the audience. The much publicized Emergo process, which was quote unquote more startling than 3D, was really nothing more than a luminous skeleton that floated over the viewer's head on a pulley. Firsthand,
great.
Firsthand reports reveal why many theaters didn't bother. The excited patrons, knowing what was going to happen, were well armed with candy boxes to throw at the battered and defenseless bones. The film itself stars Vincent Price, who gleefully tries to scare his overnight guests to death with a decapitated head, a witch, the skeleton, and an acid vat. And I think that does a really nice job of letting you know what kind of fun you're in for. And for those who do not or are not familiar with the Psychotronic Encyclopedia of film, I am here to tell you that it is something that is well worth having on your bookshelf, especially if you enjoy movies that are of the ilk that you will be able to readily find on archive.org. And it is a treasure trove of information.
And I want to know, though, about the building that they used for the exterior.
It was an interesting building. Yeah.
It looks to me like some kind of exotic thing that was done by a famous architect. You know, like somebody like Frank Lloyd Wright or somebody got a commission in the Hollywood Hills to build a kind of an Inca mansion, and then it just got pulled down again.
Yeah,
it feels like that.
I was with you on that. I remember thinking, it seems to have Aztec patterns or something all across the exterior. Yeah,
the exterior is very extraordinary and striking, and it seems to have these kind of ropes extended around it, as if it is something of tourists come this way. You know, I wonder if it was some kind of architectural heritage, and they managed to get in there before it was demolished. Because not the interiors. The interiors are obviously a studio.
Sure. Yeah. No.
The exterior is remarkable.
Clearly. Yeah. I'll have to do a little bit of footwork. Maybe next week I'll have I'll report back. I'm sure it's something that you can find on location shots on IMDb Pro.
On the internet. Yeah.
Yes. On the internet, where archive.org is there and it exists. And for those who want to see Carnival of Souls or Attack of the Giant Leeches or Spider Baby from 1964, you can see all of those titles for free. And also,
and things to come, and a whole bunch of film noir. You know, Detour is there and other things. But it's archive.org is very good, and it's definitely worth checking out and taking advantage of the availability of that stuff.
Definitely. Who knows? Maybe we should do another free movie next week, just to go a little deeper into the archive.
Great. Oh, I'd love to. Yeah. Well, let's do it again.
All right. So you're on. It's a date. So next week, let's do another archive.org pick, and you pick whatever you want. I'll pick a random title, and we'll join forces again this same bat time next Thursday.
That sounds very nice. And again, please give my love to everybody there, and from all of us up here.
Well, my best to you and Todd, and we will talk again soon.
Cheers.
And cut. Okay, that's a wrap.
Thanks again for joining Alex Cox and myself today. I'd like to thank Jason Phelps for handling the audio and Ted Thacker for letting us use the intro to his song, The Ballad of Slim Cessna, for the musical cues that bookend these conversations.